Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Miss Valley Entertainment News. My name is Dread. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel because, hey, why not? You get great more content. Great more content. Are those really the syllables that I said that I strung into words and sentences? Perhaps. Let's roll back the tape. No, let's not. Okay, we are going to react to another video by Endymion TV, who probably is reacting to an Asmongold video, it looks like, because the video title is Asmongold exposes woke localizers of manga and anime, and Japan rejects agenda. I'd be interested in what this is. Let's get into it. Again, the opinions expressed are not necessarily mine, so don't hate it on me. I'm just bringing you the news, and we'll get into it.
And there's this really weird story brewing around Japanese manga and the handling of localizations of these stories when they come to Western shores. It's a pretty wild tale with some damning evidence. I have so much stuff in front of me, but I'll do my best to present this in as easy a way as I can. But I figured we start at the source with this article from Bounding Into Comics titled, English localizers unhappy after the ancient Magus bride announces AI human hybrid simuldubs. Such disrespect for the substance of the original text is saddening. So, the gist of what's happening here is obviously it's very evident that manga is exploding in popularity. It's completely eclipsed the American comic book industry and has easily become the new de facto form of comic book graphic novel entertainment today. And due to this popularity, Japanese companies have been actively working to get their stories translated faster so readers outside of Japan can read them. Most of this is being done so quickly largely to counter the massive amounts of piracy that plagues the manga market, and these pirated versions of these stories oftentimes use unlicensed translations. But again, because of this, these Japanese companies are losing a lot of money. So naturally, they want to get their stuff out there as quickly as possible in order to meet demand and beat the piracy crowd too, which I totally understand. Also, piracy isn't cool. Just buy what you love, or don't complain when the stories you enjoy suddenly stop because you're not willing to support it. But anyway, this story exploded because Bushiroad Works, which is a Japanese publication company, decided in order to meet the demand of Western audiences, they would use a dual approach of AI translations and human editors as well. This pissed off a lot of localizers of these sorts of books, who mistakenly took it as Japanese companies are removing the human element and instead focusing on AI completely, but this isn't true. What these companies want to do is use AI to translate their books, and then once that's done, a human editor would comb through the translation. And then they would go through and fix anything that the AI didn't translate correctly or wouldn't make sense in other languages. Then the localizers started to get mad on Twitter, saying that these companies wanted to replace them. Take Andrew Steiner, no, not that Steiner, who said, "Such disrespect for the substance of the original text is saddening, especially with a series as thoughtful as this one. Corporate greed knows no bounds, of course. It's funny to me also that the official tweet announcing this only mentions the AI part in Japanese. Shameless." Another translator said, "Speed isn't the issue. You can find good translators with quick speeds. This is so disrespectful it hurts." With another chiming in and saying, "Save your money and use Google Translate instead because that's what this is gonna look like." So it's safe to say these localizers are pissed that their jobs are being threatened by AI, which is a real threat to not only their jobs but many others. Maybe one day AI will kill me in my sleep and take over my channel, you won't even know. Maybe I'm AI right now. How do you even know? But this story then goes thermonuclear when a very specific localizer threw their hat in the ring named, and I'll probably butcher this, Katrina Leonidakis. She chimed in and said, "I don't have words for how embarrassing and disappointing this is. Instead of paying a human to do a quality job, they're using AI to get a mediocre product for free. Is this how little they think of English-speaking audiences of translation? For shame." You're probably wondering why is Katrina being picked out of the crowd? Well, let's hear what she has to say, then I'll tell you the nitty-gritty afterwards that'll make you go, "Oh boy," and I quote, "Audiovisual translators are already criminally underpaid, both due to the intrusion of machine translation in the field as a whole and the demand to work in the entertainment industry. At least show your fans and creators more respect by giving them a human translation. I really wonder if creators know just how badly AI mangles the words they've crafted. Authors spend so much making sure their dialogue and narrative are written just so. You want to trust Google Translate to handle your prose? Is that how you want your...
I would tend to agree with that. I think as the original writers would probably want actual human people to translate it into English rather than risking what AI may twist their words into. For sure.
audience to know you, end quote. Then the company that publishes these mangas overseas, Bushiroad Works, replied to Katrina's rant by saying, and I quote, "To clarify misinformation that has been spread, I would like to provide some additional information. Firstly, regarding AI-assisted translation, we have implemented a system from Mantra Corporation. This system combines their unique machine translation technology with the editing and proofreading by professional translators. Next, about the purpose of simulcast distribution, unofficial translations are sometimes released for free and circulate as pirated versions. Illegal manga piracy sites that publish these cause serious harm to the manga culture and industry both domestically and internationally. The Ancient Magus Bride has
Okay, this is a little bit to me like talking about modding video games, okay? Oh, well, the mod authors are just, I mean, they're modding and it's not right because, they're blah, 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 right? It's the same kind of thing in that if your manga is only in Japanese and somebody translates it into English, yes, it's an unofficial translation, right? So there's a possibility things get messed up or whatever else. You don't have any control over it. However, now your translated work is getting pushed to the audiences who could not indulge in it before because they couldn't understand what was being said. Right? So now your work is getting out to more people. Now, are they buying that product though? Because they're probably not buying it if the one they buy is still not translated and only so. Yeah, it's a tough question. There's a lot of layers like an onion to this one. But yeah, absolutely. If you want your stuff getting out to other non-Japanese speaking markets, then you need to push those translations out yourself. Absolutely. So maybe trying to do that so they still retain control over their product and their money, and trying to do that in a hurry by using some AI to help is maybe a better way of looking at it. I can see both sides of that though.
Also continuously suffered from such damages. Initiatives like the one we are undertaking now have been proven effective in reducing piracy damage as demonstrated by precedent cases with Shueisha's works. Finally, regarding books produced and licensed officially by foreign publishers. If there are any offers from various companies, they will continue to be considered, and if conditions are met, publications will proceed as before. This situation remains unchanged. Thank you. End quote. So now that I've laid out the battlefield of AI versus translators for you, what's the controversy? Well, it turns out that Katrina Localizer Lady and others like her have not been doing their jobs correctly, to put it lightly. It turns out what a lot of these Western localizers are doing isn't just translating the works from Japan, but instead injecting their own personal politics and terms into these stories.
Oh, well, that changes things. Now they're the ones who are altering the original words of the authors. Oh, so they have an agenda. And being cut out of this process doesn't allow them to push the agenda to people. Oh, this all makes sense now.
Effectively turning someone else's work into their own version of woke agenda nonsense and then getting paid for it. So what the hell am I talking about exactly? That same translator Katrina, long last name person, was ousted last year for this very issue, where she admitted the translation of a manga her colleague was tasked with was translating a manga called I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend Into a Girl. And they took that story and they retrofitted it to make the story be about a transgender character, even though that is not what the creator intended for it to be. Katrina and this other translator who helped providing this story for English readers decided to double down and say that what they were doing was morally right, and that making the story be a trans coming-of-age story was correct. But again, that's not what the creator...
Then write your own damn story. Write your own damn story. Don't hijack somebody else's work. Why do we hear about this in the woke culture so much? Why do we hear about people taking and stealing and changing other people's work and not being able to come up with their own stuff? Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think.
Creator of the manga intended for it to be about. Katrina would then say, I know the translator and they've done their homework on this series, reading future volumes and consulting with trans people and working hard to make sure it's as accurate as possible. Shame on those listening to one rando and trashing it. I fully support this translator. Writing off what was an extremely complex and well-researched localization decision as transing a character for no reason is absolutely ridiculous and is 100% something TERFs and the right would write for some birdside cloud. Shame on you, be better. And even back then, this was frowned.
But you changed the story. It's not your story. You're not allowed to change it. Wow. I think Katrina's got more than one screw loose. I don't think she's mentally well. That's got nothing to do with her wokeism at this point. It's got to do with the fact she doesn't understand people's rights to their own work. Wow.
Upon because again, Katrina and others like her are not accurately translating stories for Western audiences. They're taking the work and then they're injecting their own politics within them. And it turns out this has been happening for a while, so let's go back to 2021 for a second. Take my hand and get in the DeLorean. We ride, dear viewer, to this article titled, Funimation inserts references to non-binary identities into English dub of Skate the Infinity. During the episode, one of the characters in Skate the Infinity says in Japanese anyway, while looking at the crowd, all you fools who love skateboarding. Okay, so that's what this character says in Japanese. So what did the translators do to this line? Well, in the English dub, Adam, the character, says, hey bitches and bros and non-binary hoes. So this line alone here was changed to something completely different while also ensuring that it pandered as well, but it doesn't end there, fellas. Here's another Twitter user who localizes mangas where they said, I've had to take matters into my own hands with some pretty sexist jokes, not even coming from villains or characters already set up as terrible. And I don't regret it. It is a lot of text is written by 50-year-old men and you get some dust in there, it helps no one to keep it.
But you're not paid to change their words. In fact, that is literally a crime, something you can and should be sued for every time you do it. If you're taking someone's words, changing them, but then continuing to accredit that to them, and say you're saying this is what they said when they didn't say it, that's a crime. That is a crime.
This then led to a very interesting Twitter exchange which reads, that's not your job though. You're not the author.
Thank you.
That's quite literally the job of localization. The majority of the audience doesn't enjoy sexist jokes.
Then write your own manga. God damn it. Why do people not understand things? Reality escapes some of these people like completely. I'm going to stop right there. Going to get myself into trouble.
That's again, not your job. Your job is to translate the jokes and messaging of the original author in a way for the joke and messaging of the author to be understood to a foreign audience. I bet you're translating Huck Finn as well from its original text. To which this translator says, oh, you're one of those. You see what's happening here is we have these translators who are very obviously drinking the Kool-Aid and have made it their personal mission to pander and transform the works of Japanese creators in order to score woke brownie social acceptance
then,
points.
Go for AI.
And it's
sure.
not only immoral, it's just
out.
downright stupid.
Cut
because, like what that Labor Twitter user said, they went out of their way to remove things they personally didn't agree with when they were translating something. Like removing text written by 50-year-old men as they put it. And by 50-year-old men, they mean what exactly? The person who wrote the thing you're translating to begin with? So these translators genuinely believe that they know the story better than the actual creator who wrote and drew the story in the first place.
People are so fucked.
This is not only a problem, it's dangerous as well. Because these woke translators are not only injecting their own politics into these stories, they're removing the uniqueness of the creators themselves.
Yep.
And why read a manga made by a Japanese creator if the flavor and cultural relevancy behind it is torn out and replaced
Absolutely.
by woke Western agenda pushers instead? At that point, why even read this stuff, right? And herein lies the problem. Not only are these writers ruining these works with their own moronic politics, what this will end up doing is slowly but surely pushing potential fans and current fans away from reading or supporting these books.
Yeah.
But this sucks, because if customers don't support these stories, the people who really get punished for these are the creators of those stories in Japan, who likely have no idea that their stories are being co-opted and retrofitted by morons with colorful hair. And then if fans stop buying these things, sure, the translator will lose some work, but in the long run, the publications will then cease releasing new products and stories, hampering not only the manga market, but the creative heartbeat of Japanese culture. These issues don't just stop in Western countries is what I'm saying. They can and will have long-standing detrimental effects to everyone involved.
Man.
And if these stories get rejected because of some woke translator, they'll just move on to the next project where they will very likely be hired by one of their friends. And then they'll just do the same thing again and again until everything coming from Japan has been mistranslated in order to fit agendas that have no business being there in the first place.
Terrible
I know
for
some
the
of this
original
sounds like
authors.
hyperbole,
Terrible.
but it isn't. This has a very
Get your
damaging
hands off
and
other people's
serious effect
works.
on Japanese media, and these people have even infiltrated video games too. Look at the Legend of Heroes series, which is a very popular and long-running franchise from Falcom. One user on Twitter posted some examples of how localizations have been ruining these beloved games. I mean, look at this one image of the English text and you can see the smear of woke weirdo translators all over it. Stuff like, if this ain't a bruh moment, then I don't know what is. Dude, Randy would never say that. He's a cool and calm bracer. Like, what is even happening? Then look here, I mean, come on, dude. To be honest, I don't think I'm woke enough to vote on independence anyway. I'm kind of relieved. Like, excuse me? The word woke would have no place or meaning in a world like Zemuria or anyone who lives in Crossbell for that matter. Here's another example of English translation on the left meets what the Japanese text should say in English. As you can see, there's this weird millennial zoomer weirdo writing to the English version of this and it's stupid. Like, look here where the student says, I think your reasoning is correct. Then the actual official translation says, that's totes possible. Like, what? That's completely different. That's a whole new sentence. What the hell are you doing
dumb.
here? Here's another example. Japanese version says, how could that have been a disguise? Then the actual translation says, call me a creepy sheep because I got the wool pulled over my eyes so hard. Again, dude, that's an entire other made up sentence. What the hell? Japanese again. Oh, come on, you weren't listening after all. English. Sheesh, I knew you were off in La La Land. Like, that's not even remotely close.
Nope.
And this is what I'm talking
That's
about.
wrong.
Because these translations will do nothing but make people want to move
Absolutely
away from
wrong.
these games. But they shouldn't, because the Legend of Heroes games are great. Honestly, everything from Falcom is amazing. Stuff like East 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, for example, is one of the best action RPGs of the past 10 years. I don't think his translation was that bad. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm pretty sure it got updated, but still. But that game is still amazing, and it should be played by anyone who loves JRPGs or action games. But anyone on the outside who's been thinking of buying these games will take one look at these sorts of translations and go, yeah, I'm good. And who does that hurt in the long run? The woke translator? Maybe sure. But this will just end up hurting Falcom instead, and they don't deserve to be punished. Because they make amazing games that are full of content and world building, and this kind of shit needs to stop because it's not right. Then this controversy got so bad, even Asmongold had to weigh in on this, so here's a clip of that.
Yeah, this is a classic one I show anytime it's relevant. So basically, you have a translation of a scene from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid where Luca is basically saying, I wanted to wear something different so people wouldn't look at me.
So the original actual translation would be, what's with that outfit? And they put, what are you wearing that for? Actual translation, everyone was always saying something to me, so I tried toning down the exposure. How is it? They put, oh, those pesky patriarchal societal demands were getting on my nerves, so I changed clothes. Actual translation, you should try changing your body next. They translate it as, give it a week, they'll be begging you to change back. That's a complete and utter change to what was supposed to be said. Without the original author's okay, that is not okay. That is not okay. This is literally a crime against the original author. Literally. And seems like it's happening all over. These people who do this shit are fucked in the head. They are absolutely fucked in the head. They do not understand reality. They don't understand government. They don't understand laws. They don't understand humanity, intellectual property. They don't understand anything. They are fucked in the head. I am an artist, okay? Not just from my channel stuff. I write short stories. I write poems. I write song lyrics. I play a little bass, even less guitar. I'm an artist. My work means the most to me. If somebody hooked up a sheet of paper of my work and changed it, I would fucking cut them. This shit is not cool.
Yeah.
And in the localization, it says, "Oh, those pesky patriarchal societal demands were getting on my nerves." Yeah, quite the leap and bound in that situation. But
no way, though, right? Like, that's so outrageous. I don't even believe. Is this true? No way. That's great. Or what? No, I don't believe. I want to see it. I want to fucking see it.
Asmongold and his reactions are pretty fucking hilarious. He plays up the reactions a lot, but that's the way he gets his chat to respond, right?
What's the title? Yeah, fact check right now. Yeah, I want to see it right now.
Coming. Hey. Oh, hi. What are you doing here, Lukawa?
To see you and bring these. Want some snacks?
Duh, thank you. What are you wearing that for?
Oh, those pesky patriarchal societal demands were getting on my nerves. So I changed clothes.
Give it a week, they'll be begging you to change back.
Huh?
You can come on in if you want.
And this is like real, right? Like this is it's I mean, I just this is so outrageous. It's like I refuse to fucking believe it. But it's right there in front of me. I see it. There it is.
It's literally hard to believe.
That's awful. Like what?
And as you can see, there's a very distinct agenda going on.
People should be going to jail for that shit.
Stories are being changed by woke translators, and it's ruining these stories.
And it's got nothing to do with whatever they believe about sexuality, transgender, or anything else. I'm saying, I don't care what they change it to. For changing the original author's words and meaning, they should go to jail. Period.
A Japanese developer with private funding creating an AI program that will soon be able to auto-translate any manga instantly into any other language. The company behind this is called Orange, and this AI program has been launched already in 2021. And it is already being actively used, and the founders of this hope that Orange will eventually get so industry-wide that it becomes the norm. According to Orange's founder, Shoko Ugaki, they said, "In 10 years, I would like to realize a world where people all over the world can read every Japanese masterpiece manga in their own native languages."
Makes a lot of sense.
Although Orange's CEO does admit the AI still does require a human translator to comb over the text afterwards, but this is still a good step. I find it crazy that I'm sitting here naked on my couch actually agreeing that we need more AI in the world. But it's like, what other option do we have? These woke weirdos are willing to self-sabotage entire franchises and ruin their momentum for agenda brownie points. Realistically, what other options do these Japanese
don't change somebody else's art?
If they can't place their faith fully in the hands of the people tasked with translating these things, what are they supposed to do? The push for AI in translations is honestly not really a conversation of if, but when. And honestly, I think it's morally right in this very specific case anyway, where AI is objectively the right choice to go with over human input.
I understand why.
Because at least with AI, it'll just tell you what's up without injecting politics or nonsense like turning characters trans randomly. And really, when you think about it, these problems that these translators are scared of, like losing their jobs to robots, it's all self-inflicted. Had they just did their jobs normally, none of this would have been an issue. But this is what I've been saying for a while now, that the Western woke mind virus will do everything in its power to overtake and infect the Eastern market if they can. Because it's very evident that Western customers are largely abandoning their own countries when it comes to entertainment. Because the Japanese industries at least don't care about multiple genders, pronouns, or pandering. They just care about quality and telling great stories, and that bothers the Western creators. Because it's been forever since Western comics have actually done anything interesting or new with the comics available.
That's true. That's true. I quit buying comics about 15 years ago. Used to love them all the way from my teens up till then, but yeah, I was done. I was done.
Well, to them, everything is a rehash or what if scenario, and Japan is over here coming up with new stories, characters, and metas seemingly every other week. The Western creators are scared of the East because they know that they can't compete with their quality in storytelling. So what better way to level the playing field than to ruin it from the inside out? And hope the rot consumes the host and eventually
Subvert it is what they're trying to do. They're trying to subvert it.
brings them down to their level. And if you ask me, dear viewer, we can't allow that to happen. Japan is a bastion of anti-woke entertainment, and they are champions of delivering some of the best stuff this world has ever seen. And the mind virus cannot be allowed to infest it. Japan has been rejecting the woke agenda, and we need to keep it that way.
I'm going to leave it there. Again, not everything said by Endymion TV here is my opinion, but it's a very interesting and open and frank opener of a discussion about these things. As much as I know the comments are going to get into the woke aspects of things, I am more interested as an artist in the rights of the actual original artists being taken over with these people walking in and changing it illegally. And I honestly think when people find that they've done this, they should be sued and they should be criminally put in jail. That is a wrong thing to do. And I'm always going to be against that. In the same way I am against race changing or gender swapping or whatever traditional character that already exists that's been made by somebody, and somebody else come in and say, hey, I decided Bruce Banner as the Hulk. I actually want him to be, Rabota Karan, and she's going to be, from Somalia, and she's going to be a black immigrant, and she's going to be the new Hulk. No. Make Roberta Karan your own character, give her own transformation into something, and sell that to people. Don't take something that's already there and change it for your politics, for your identity politics, for your whatever. Don't take somebody else's stuff and do that. Now, I know in comics that's allowed because for Marvel and DC, the people who create the characters don't own the characters. We know this. The company owns them, so the company allows that. I understand. However, it's still, in my estimation, wrong. In that case, though, those people can't be charged. With this stuff, they should be able to, and they should be. So let me know down below what you think. Try to keep the conversation civil, and we'll see you all next time. By the way, I'm already enjoying how many people with bot accounts are showing up and commenting on my videos, and I'm calling them out when I see them because a little investigation quickly figures out, oh, yeah, you're not real people. You're not real people. You are woke bots who do show up on my channel already and try to subvert people's opinions and call me out and come up with false things. And I love it. I love it because it's so easy to do 5 minutes of research and be like, yeah, that's not a real person. That's somebody operating a whole bunch of bots. It's fascinating, people. You can't believe everything you read on the internet. Most of it's fake. From Misfit Entertainment News, my name is Dread. Hope you're having an entertaining time. Bye-bye.